NBA. First topic out the gate is James Harden. He has missed practice. I don't think any of us are really surprised. I'm gonna let you lead the way with this, Jay. Your thoughts on this? What needs to happen? I know what James Harden wants to happen, and I think we all know what really should be right and what he was told was going to happen if he signed the contract. But we also know what didn't happen. What needs to happen? What does the NBA or the Philadelphia 76ers or what just needs to happen? How do we rectify this? How does all parties move forward? And is there any light at the end of the tunnel, in your opinion, on this?
So, here's my thing. Two things, really. First of all, Adam Silver needs to grow a set and, put his foot down on, this behavior. I'm sorry, but it's true. This behavior like this because, if you recall, Adam Silver had this big issue with Damian Lillard trying to force his way to Miami and made that apparent that, that wasn't going to happen. Yet you're allowing James Harden to do the stuff that he's doing. And I'm not saying that James Harden is wrong in his reasoning. He has trust issues with Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey promised him money. He didn't get paid. And, his whole thing is, I'll never play for a team that Daryl Morey is a part of. That's all great and good. But we've seen James Harden do this time and time again. He cried his way out of Houston. He cried his way out of Boston. He cried his way to Philly. And, he's continuously, it's becoming that prima donna behavior that's giving the NBA a negative light. And quite frankly, I don't know if either one of you watch All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. It's actually one of my favorite podcasts to watch. And, they made it very much clear. With a guy like James Harden, he's going to mess around, cry his way out of the NBA entirely, prematurely, way too soon. Because the NBA is notorious for making examples out of players who feel like they're better than the NBA. I'll give you a prime example, and even though it wasn't warranted, it was still an example, and that would be Carmelo Anthony. If you remember with Carmelo Anthony, he cried about having to come off the bench for a while. What did that happen? He was blackballed from the NBA for 2 seasons, had to take a sweet veteran deal to go to Portland, and then that's how he ended his career. The Carmelo Anthony. So if it can happen to Carmelo Anthony, what makes James Harden think that it can't happen to him? My suggestion to a James Harden, just play ball, man. Play ball. Prove that you still got what's left in the tank. Prove that you still have like a little bit of value left in you. And then at that point, now you can call more shots because he's not proving anything to me. You're talking about a guy who's inconsistent in the playoffs. He has a game to where he drops 40. Then he has a game to where he plays subpar. The 76ers do absolutely nothing with him and Joel Embiid. And a lot of that is due to James Harden. So he really doesn't have as much of a voice that he thinks he has. And quite frankly, to an NBA fan, it's just annoying to me.
I would disagree with one thing. I'm going to give Mario's thoughts. The inconsistency. I don't know. I think he's pretty consistent, but shriveling up and disappearing when the games actually matter in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
But I get your point, though. Mario, your thoughts on this whole situation?
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning the same way as both of y'all. But it's just making it hard to root for James Harden. You know what I mean? Even root for him or be on the same team with him. You know what I mean? Because you never know if you're getting somebody's 100%. You know what I mean? And then with the NBA players making so much money, feeling entitled. You know what I mean? I think it's just the way it just makes the league look bad, in my opinion. But as far as him sitting down and not coming to practice, he does have to grow up. You know what I mean? And when you're looking at it as far as the working person looking at the games while he's getting paid, it just doesn't feel right.
And this is time, man. Like you've been. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, my thing is with this type of situation, you got to really, really toe the fine line because you don't want to come off sounding like Laura Ingraham with shut up and dribble. But, at the end of the day, I mean, quite frankly, you're not really sending a message by missing practice. You're letting your team down. You got guys who are looking up to you on that team. I'll throw one name out there, Matisse Thybulle. who just credit James Harden on being an excellent leader. Now look at the example that you're setting for guys in the league. You're telling them that this type of play is okay, yet you are sitting here trying to you're sitting here trying to say that you're deserving of something. That might be true, but at the end of the day, this is not how you get that message across. You lead by example.
I agree. And what makes Harden think that anybody is going to want to trade for you if you don't get your way? This is how you're going to act. And I understand that some of what's going on is justifiable, and I'm not going to say all of it. And I don't even care for Harden. I was like, I can't. As a matter of fact, I can't even stand watching Harden. But if you sit there and you miss these practices and you carry yourself a certain way, why would anybody want to bend over backwards trying to get you on the team, figure out a way? And what would motivate a team? Look, if I'm Harden, I'm going in and I'm busting my butt, regardless if I want to be on the team or not. At least now I got a leg to stand on. Look, I don't want to be part of this organization. I don't like how they handled my contract. There's shady stuff or whatever, just based off his opinion. I'm not saying this is all but even if that's his mind frame, I'm still coming to work. I'm still putting my all. I'm still in basketball shape. We've seen him not do the whole basketball thing and going to Brooklyn and not be in basketball shape. Like, why would you put yourself behind everybody else in the league and not be ready and not prove that, look, I'm going to do what I got to do and overcome and give my 100%, somebody trade for me? Because at this point, you're really holding no value to anybody. You're just showing everybody, if I don't get my way, I'm going to be a thorn in everybody's side and get myself out of basketball shape. And that's just, to me, not where you need to be, and especially at your age, because it only gets harder. We're all getting up there in age. All three of us are pretty close in age. We know what a cheeseburger 15, 20 years would have done versus what a cheeseburger does today, and how much it takes to get it off. So I don't know why. But anyway, we got about 5 more minutes. I want to get through these topics real quick. How are your guys' thoughts? I've seen some really good action with CP3 on Golden State. I've seen some, and I've heard a lot of great things, and people are really noticing what Golden State and how that chemistry has come together. And I've also seen some highlights of the Milwaukee new team with Dame out there. I'm going to start with you, Mario, this time. Your thoughts on Golden State, how they're looking with CP3 in their rotation?
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. With Chris Paul and having Steph Curry not dribbling the ball and running through screens with Klay Thompson in them, it's gonna take it back to the Mark Jackson days. You know what I mean? Where he's gonna get some good shots without have to worry about setting up the offense. But we're gonna have to see what the big boys do down there. Hopefully they can stay healthy, because they're gonna definitely need them. Without getting in foul trouble and getting rebounds, because there will be some bricks going off with all them jump shots. That's gonna be fine.
Your thoughts, Jay, what you've seen so far?
2 things. So, first things first, Mario hit the keyword right there on the head, healthy. As long as his team can stay healthy, you're talking about a pretty good playoff run. You're talking about, honestly, the best the best scorer that Chris Paul's ever had a chance to pass the ball to, and Steph Curry. And then you also got, one of the best in Klay Thompson, as long as Klay Thompson stays consistent. Here's the truth, man. If Golden State was in the Eastern Conference, you're talking about a finals appearance. Because the only thing that's really stopping them is, maybe Milwaukee, maybe Boston, but I would still favor Golden State in that end. However, we're in the Western Conference, and it's just extremely competitive. So, it's a lot left to be seen, but I do love the concept of an inside-out game between Steph Curry and Chris Paul. You got a guy who's automatic from mid-range. You got a guy who's dang near automatic from three-point. And then you forget, I keep saying two, we forget Klay Thompson still exists. We forget Draymond Green still has his value. We forget some of the young guys, Kuminga, Moody, GP2. So, this team, it has a lot of potential, but it comes down to health.
And what have you seen out of Milwaukee so far in this preseason? And how do you like that? How they look so far?
Screw what I've seen. Let's talk about what I'm about to see. What you're about to see is the greatest pick and roll that you've seen since the '90s, since John Stockton and Karl Malone. I'm so excited on this that I've already pre-purchased my tickets to the next Detroit-Milwaukee game, just because that is the most dangerous 1-2 combo in the NBA this year. I like little bits and pieces of Giannis and Dame's game, but I think they're going to have a little bit to iron out as far as, their pick and roll action and really getting Chris Middleton involved and Pat Connaughton. The one thing I do love about like this team, Brook Lopez can still play. That's scary. But, the reality of it is that pick and roll combo is going to be almost unguardable in the NBA, in a league where really there's not a lot of the defense being played right now.
And the last topic we got for you before we get you out of here, the rookies. Has any rookies stuck out to you so far in the preseason and even leading up to the what games are those called? The summer games. Has any of them impressed you? Any of them that you're expecting big things out of, based on what we've seen, not just out of hearsay and hype?
Yeah, two guys for sure. Obviously, Wemby. Wemby's going to be Wemby, so I'm not even counting him. I want to throw one name that people forget about. He is still a rookie, and that'd be Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren is looking very much Wemby-like. I don't know if you've seen his last game where he dropped 18, 7 for 8 from a field goal, dropped 2 or 3 in 26 minutes. He's hooping. Another guy I want to throw out there, hometown Michigan guy, Imani Bates, plays in Cleveland. Might have heard of him. He is proving that he is going to be a steal in the draft. I wish Detroit would have nagged him, because I think he could have provided some firepower off the bench, but I love the fact that Cleveland is giving him an opportunity. His last game, 16 points, dropped 50% from the field, 4 for 9 from 3. So you're looking at a guy who's going to be able to get buckets off the bench come this season.
Mario, any of them that stick out to you?
Yeah, that was a very interesting take, and every player that he said I totally agree with. But I'm gonna change. I'm gonna try to shift it a little bit. With Lillard getting up out of Portland and trying to win his championship, goals and dreams. I want to see, even though they're of course they're in Portland, but it's hard out there. But I want to see what them Portland boys gonna do. You know what I mean? They're real young. They got some vets. You know what I mean? So I really want to see what all three of them going to do down there.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel